Look, sure, it doesn't stick the landing, but Daniel Kaluuya is going to go up for the gold, so let's talk Judas and the Black Messiah. After being offered a plea deal by the FBI, William O'Neill infiltrates the Illinois chapter of the Black Panther Party to gather intelligence on Chairman Fred Hampton. Expectations are really high for this one. The actors are spectacular, obviously. Daniel Kaluuya, Lakeith Stanfield, Jesse Plemons. I mean, that title. That's a badass title. Judas and the Black Messiah. It also hints that, like, the stuff this movie is dealing with, betrayal, the death of friendship, you're dealing with, like, the greatest stories in that. Expectations for this one, I would say, are reasonably high. Daniel Kaluuya is going to get an Oscar nomination for his role in this movie, deservedly so. But that is all this movie is going to get because the rest of the story lives at the level of a TV movie. To be fair, the movie does not start out that way. Judas and the Black Messiah is the story of William O'Neill. This is his story. We start off in the beginning seeing him as an informant and his journey through the Illinois chapter of the Black Panther Party. We see Fred Hampton through his eyes. William O'Neill is the Judas, so the story of betrayal begins and ends with him, and the most important part that defines that betrayal is the relationship that the movie starts building between William O'Neill and Fred Hampton. His journey up the ranks of the Black Panther Party is great. The way that we see William O'Neill's ties to Frank Hampton strengthening, we see it go from treacherous to sincere. We start to see it. See, around the middle of the movie, the focus shifts entirely to Fred Hampton. William takes a back seat. This is the point that's going to get Kaluuya the Oscar nomination, but it does so at the movie's expense. Look, the Fred Hampton character is deeply seductive. He is highly motivated for a worthy cause. On top of that, he's charming. On top of that, most importantly, he's sincere. But by turning this last half of the movie into a hagiography of Fred Hampton, we lose most of the character development that we got for William O'Neill, the main character. So we spend time with Fred Hampton, and he's great. It spends so much time just focusing on Fred Hampton that in the last parts of the movie, whenever the FBI or William shows up, you go, oh, right, this guy's supposed to be an informant. But why does this guy want to betray Fred Hampton? Fred Hampton seems like a good guy. I mean, yeah, didn't you see the last 30 minutes of him being a good guy? This movie is about William O'Neill's betrayal of Fred Hampton. By the movie focusing its latter third on only Fred Hampton, it kills that connection that we're supposed to have between the betrayer and the betrayed. This movie only gives us like a little bit of it. Ask yourself when you finish it. The ending of this movie makes logical sense, but there's no emotional resonance in it. On the good side, the technical aspects of this movie are a total powerhouse. The cinematography is incredible. It immediately establishes a gritty and poverty-stricken world. The soundtrack is amazing. It is much more of a horror soundtrack, which for a movie that leans much more politically, I don't think that I have seen before, and it gives it a breath of fresh air. The acting in this movie is superb. Daniel Kaluuya is going to get an Oscar nomination, deservedly so. The problem is that Lakeith Stanfield is at that exact same level, and the movie sidelines him when it needs him the most. If you saw this movie and you enjoyed it, I would say you should check out The Assassination of Jesse James by the Coward Robert Ford and The Last King of Scotland, because those are movies where it follows the betrayer and the betrayed, and it establishes their relationship in much stronger terms, and it pays off as a much, much more memorable series of movies. Oh, and the end info subtitles. Okay, we need to keep those under a minute, so we're either going to make a feature film or we're going to make a documentary, and I think this movie isn't sure what it wants to be.